there folks, welcome ye all to another little quick vlog of mine. I just wanted to have a ad hoc chinwag about how I got on with the last vlog I did was about what you guys wanted me to play on the Let's Plays because I hadn't done them for quite some time. Hang on a minute, let me sort myself out here people. And so I took it all on board, and two of the three games that came back, or the most popular ones that came back outside of Dragon's Dogma, which I just don't have it in me people at the minute. Actually, I really enjoy Dragon Dogma, but the thing with it is that in order to go further than I did, which is kind of technically the end of the original story, I think, and then there was a big lump after it. So I fought the big demon dragon thing and all that malarkey. But I'd done quite a number of episodes. It was really popular, to be fair. But in order to sort of go further forward with it, I'd have to do a lot of grinding to level up, especially to do a bit of Black Isle, which is one of the DLCs, I think, in it. And you've got to be a stupid level for that, and even at that it's difficult. So the amount of time I'd have to invest in Dogma at this stage in the game just ain't going to happen in order to do it. So I jokingly sort of said F off to people, you know. Sorry, King Ratzer, I didn't do, no offence, but it really was just for that reason. I actually enjoy playing the game. It's just the grinding I'd have to do to carry it any further. At this point in time, I just don't have the time to invest in it. However, the other three that came back were Kingdom Come Deliverance and Dark Souls Remastered and Fallout 3 were the kind of biggest three that people asked. Oh, and Subnautica as well, to be fair, which I keep forgetting about. I probably, at this stage in the game, I'm going to try and... You'll notice I've put up one episode of well, the first one I did was Kingdom Come Deliverance Part 13. So that went up the day before yesterday. And yesterday night I put up... Well, it was kind of yesterday because I posted it up. I let it upload overnight. So most of you would have caught it yesterday morning. And I did the same with Dark Souls last night. I let that upload. So most of you have caught that earlier today. And a few of you are catching it. If you're American people, you'll have been catching it up later, won't you? So I have actually done that was part 2 of Dark Souls Remastered that I posted up last night. And Dark Souls Remastered Part 3 is already recorded. I did them back to back, and that I will post that up after I've posted this little vlog up. So it will go up later on this evening for those that you're enjoying that. I made a royal mess of Dark Souls. The first episode I did a while back went really well. I didn't even get hit, I don't think, in the entire thing. You know, I didn't even use an Estus flask. And then in this part, I just seemed to... My thumbs and fingers just didn't seem to bloody work. Anyway, we got there in the end after about 7 bloody Taurus demon fight. And then the third part, once I'd got my groove on with that, the third part was great. So you'll see that go up later. So I was dead comfortable with the third part, outside of a couple of freak out moments. Like you do, people, like you do. The only thing with these is my bloody arm gets really sore doing these. It's like, bloody hell. I need to find another way of holding the camera, but the problem is I don't want it under chin. Oh, there we go. We could do that, I suppose. Just stick my thumb on the lens. So yeah, so really it was a quick chat because I hadn't done Let's Plays for ages, and I was struggling to find the time to do them. So basically what's happening is, obviously the World Cup, I've been watching a lot of football in the evenings and stuff anyway at the minute, so I was waiting for a gap in that, which came in the last couple of days. There was no football on for the World Cup, so... And that started again this evening. In fact, there's a game on now, which I've forgotten about as it happens. So you're getting this instead of me watching the football, people. It's a good game as well. It's Belgium-Brazil, people. I'll be putting that on in a minute. It's been on for half an hour. So yeah, so the last 2 evenings, there was no football on. I thought, right, I'm going to get home, going to get my tea sorted. Well, actually, that's not true. Go for a run at the gym, get home. So by the time I do gym and get home, and get recorded and everything, you're looking at probably about, well, that Dark Souls one last night took me a while. It was probably about an hour and a half recording, and then there was another hour doing part 3. By the time I'd rendered it and put it up, I think I went to bed about 11:30, and normally I got to bed about 10:30, whereas the Kingdom Come Deliverance one wasn't quite as mad as that. So you're looking at, you know, just to get one episode done, for a Let's Play, you're looking at that sort of time frame. Just one evening will get me one episode. So that's the time I've got to work with on a standard evening. And obviously that's not lending itself to maybe going around at my dad's a couple of evenings a week or all that sort of stuff. So I just need to squeeze them in where I can, folks, you know. But I have to say, having not done them for ages, I was really getting an urge to play them again. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed doing both of them. I was worried about Kingdom Come Deliverance because I thought, God, that I can't remember any of the buttons. I've got no idea. I was trying to remember what the hell I was doing in it, so I had to watch a bit of the last one. And as it happened, when I jumped into it just for a couple of minutes off camera, it all came back fairly naturally, funnily enough, and I was expecting it to be hard work because it's not a conventional sort of system, especially the fighting. All right, I died in the first fight I came across, but the only button I'd forgotten really was block, and that's why. And plus, I took 3 people on at once. I'm not quite ready for that. But outside of that, it was a nice playthrough, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna try and commit here, and I'll give you plenty more Kingdom Come, and I will give you plenty more Dark Souls Remastered, and I will squeeze in somewhere. I'm still debating whether or not to do Subnautica or Fallout 3. I don't want to overdo it because if I do that, I might end up scunnering myself, and then I don't do them. But I know that there was quite a few folks said Subnautica and Fallout 3, so I will try and do one of those as well. It just depends on how much time I get through the week. The other thing is, obviously, with the guitar and all that sort of stuff, I try and take time out, sort of learning. I do at least half an hour to an hour of an evening on the guitar. What tends to happen is, because I'm doing the recordings again, the Let's Plays, I tend to do the guitar while my dinner's cooking, so it take maybe 25 minutes for the chicken to cook in the oven, and just, and so I try and practice the guitar in that space of time, which does limit me a little bit. So, so there's that to consider as well. It's just throwing other things into my life, people, as well as the gaming. But I had missed the Let's Plays. I know Professor Norgatron, sir, if you're watching, I did hear you, and I did respond to your tweet asking me if I didn't do live streams anymore. It has played on my mind a little bit that I haven't done them for a while, and it is again exactly the same thing. I just don't it's committing the time to it. What I found was it started to feel like work when I was committing to times every week of doing it. So maybe I could do some ad hoc ones, but I won't commit to any at the minute. I'll get the Let's Plays going, and I'll keep enjoying those for a little bit, and if we're going well with them, then maybe I'll pick a game to do some live streams on, maybe, and we'll go with that plan. So yeah, it's not that I'm never going to do them again, it's just life's just taken a turn for me where I want to do other things as well as the Let's Plays, and trying to, or the gaming in general, and trying to, like, when you do live streams and stuff, you generally commit into an evening to let people know when you're going to be on, and it's just hasn't been feasible for a while. I think my life kind of changed a little bit when Mum passed away tail end of last year. I think for anyone, it would just make you contemplate and reconsider what you're kind of doing with yourself. And I have made a fair amount of effort to try and, like, the guitar's a prime example. I just decided that that's it. I'm going to learn the damn thing or be damned with it. And also my age, life starts telling you, like, you haven't got forever. If you don't do it at some point, you're never going to do it at all. So it's important, I think, to try and throw these things in along with the gaming. So that's really all that's happening. It's not that I don't love gaming when I'm not doing any. It's simply that I'm trying to find time to put it into my schedule, people. I also got a bit addicted to sort of binge watching certain TV shows and stuff at one point as well. So it's finding a balance along with everything else. But I thoroughly loved doing Kingdom Come Deliverance. I was really surprised about that. I wasn't surprised that I would enjoy it. I was surprised that it wouldn't be frustrating. I think because there's a save now in the menu that didn't used to be there. You still have to use Saviour Potions if you save in game, but if you are exiting, if anyone who's watched the video, if you are exiting to leave the game, it's basically save and exit now as opposed to exit the game, and I'm pretty sure that's not what it was before. You had to find some way of saving the game, either sleeping at a camp somewhere, finding a Saviour Potion, or making one. So that frustration's kind of gone, although I haven't tried reloading the game right enough. But I think that's the addition that's been made to the menu. So you can save anywhere as long as you've got a Saviour Potion, and you can save in exiting the game. Obviously, you don't want to do that every time you want to save in the game before a fight or whatever. So it's kind of a good balance, because it means there's still a suffering to dying, and there's still a consequence to using Saviour Potions. You don't want to be closing the game down every time you want to save it, do you? So finding camps and using Saviour Potions is still relevant in the game. So I think it was a clever way to do it. So that was quite nice. And I only died the once, I think, if I remember, and so I did go back a little bit and I cut that part out for you guys, but it was probably another 5 minutes of just getting back to where I was in that particular case. It wasn't too bad at all. Bloody hell, falling over, folk. I've only had half a beer, half a flagon. So yeah, and Dark Souls, it was just frightening. Like a couple of weeks back, I was doing a bit of it offline, and I was doing really well. And that Taurus demon fight took me one attempt, and he only hit me like I think once or maybe twice on the ladder going up. And I mean, there was no danger. I absolutely hammered him. And this one, I just couldn't do it. Like he just wouldn't step aside to let me through to the ladder, or he was just bitch slapping me all over the floor twice before I could get to the ladder. It was horrible, people. It was just horrible. But as I say, part 3, I got my mojo back on. It was the section after that where I go off and I think end of the part you've just seen the Claymore, wasn't it? I just got the Claymore. So part 3 is me running around with the Claymore and taking things on. So I think the fact that I'm very comfortable with the Claymore now after doing the Xbox back compat thing, I think that's what made the difference, to be honest. There's still a couple of wobbly moments in it, but that's me and Dark Souls for you. So yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed doing both of them, and there'll be plenty more of those coming. And I will look at Subnautica and Fallout 3 in some fashion at some point once we've got a good groove going with these. I'll try and get at least a couple of each up a week if I can manage it for you. Absolutely, I will. That's it, people. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to chat a little bit about the fun I had doing the Let's Plays, and it was good to be back in them. And it's been, as always... In fact, well, before we do that, I think it's only right and fair to say cheers, everybody, and happy Friday. Those of you who are watching the World Cup and those of you who are in England or are English will be looking forward to the game tomorrow, the quarter-final with Sweden, the crazy Swedes. They are not an easy team. And England's record against them is not overly great, so they need to be on fire tomorrow and get their shiz together in order to do it. I am a Scotsman, for those of you who... are unaware. My accent does not give that away, but I grew up abroad and I ended up with a generic English accent. But I am all Scottish with a touch of Irish, but I just ended up with an English accent. However, because I grew up in the British forces, I tend to support all the home nations in the World Cup. So I'm a little bit odd as a Scotsman because I don't hate on the English the way that most Scottish people do. It was just that camaraderie in the forces. We all supported each other's teams, and that was that. You know, well, I was a kid, you know, but my dad was a teacher in the forces, so it was just growing up in that atmosphere. So I've always, you know, it's like my friends are English. Like, why am I hating on their team? I wouldn't be hating on it. Having said that, I'm not overly sure I'm gonna want you to win the final. If you get to the final, I'm not. The only reason I don't want you to win the final is because we'll never hit the damn end of it. As a Scotsman, it just gets annoying, people, you know what I mean? We're still not hear the end of 66. If you've won it this time, we'd never hear the end of it until I'm bloody dead anyway. But there you are. So I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow in some way or another. And I hope anyone else out there who has been enjoying the World Cup has had a good time with it and had a few flagons of ale to go with it and some barbecues. It has been, as always, an honour and a privilege serving for you in this quick little vlog of mine on the new 1080p phone camera. And I shall see you all next time. Take it easy, folks. Bye.